Hello fam. So all the series that I announced before will be coming out, but they will be coming out in February. I have been working nonstop to make content. My voice is kind of weird today, so please excuse that. Like I said, I've been working on these energy readings to get them out by February so that you guys could have your yearly forecast. And then of course I'll be doing February readings as well. So I'm gonna so much. But anyway, those are things that are going to be out next month on a regular basis. Like they're going to be what's the word? They're going to be a weekly thing. Like, so if you're not aware of what I'm speaking of, I will be doing a astrology series. We're going to start with the sun signs. We're doing like a witchy talk, so I'm going to go over like my craft. The first video, of course, is just going to touch base with what like witchcraft is and how it's really an umbrella, so to speak. And then of course we're going to have these talks, which is our regular tea talks. And then the fourth one, I'm not sure. We may just do like, you know, 2 tea talks and then have an astrology series and a witchy talk or whatever. My bun is huge. Yeah, I usually wear my hair like this, you know, when I'm just like, bleh. Which is, you know, it's been super cold where I'm at, so that's why like I'm wearing like a t-shirt and like this, and I love it, honestly. Like I'm really, really comfortable. So, I mean, there's that. But, so today though, I wanted to talk about something. I've actually wanted to post a video earlier about it because it is something that people have been affected by this year a lot more, that I've noticed, for a variety of reasons. And that is SAD, which is seasonal affective disorder, aka seasonal depression. You know, I don't know why I did that. I mean, that's what it is. But I know it has affected me for years. I wasn't aware of what it was until a few years ago when it got really, really, really bad. And I mean bad as in I was, by the way, before you continue, just trigger warning, I will be talking about my personal experiences with seasonal affective disorder, which may kind of flip a switch for some of you. So just stay aware and take care of yourself. If something hits you kind of hard, you know, just click off here. You know, won't hurt my feelings. I understand. I completely do. I just wanted to let you guys know ahead of time. You know, so after, you know, with that being said, in the past, whenever I recognized that something was wrong, when something was just kind of off, so to speak, was when I had some serious suicidal thoughts, but also tendencies. What do I mean by that? I mean that one year it got so bad. I guess I'm not getting mail today. It got so bad that I would literally I would have anxiety attacks. I actually had just moved in with my sister, which was wonderful, by the way. Sis, if you're watching this, I love you. My sister's amazing, guys. I could not ask for better. I was going through a really, really rough time. It was the darkest time of my life. And it was at the beginning of 2017. So 2016 into 2017, because it usually started at the end of October, early November. So, and lasts through like around spring when the sun would come out more. But it was the hardest, darkest time of my life. And it was at this time that I was forced to look at myself and actively be aware of these things that, you know, were, you know, taking hold of me. It was also the time where I started becoming friends with my best friend Kimberly. If you don't know who that is, follow me on Instagram. The link is down below. I update all the time there. I would really love if you guys gave me a follow. That way I can like keep up with you guys as well. If you guys have any questions, feel free to message me. Anyway, so at this time, I had a lot of suicidal thoughts. And it was the first time, I think, in my life in a very, very long time that I felt I couldn't control it. That it was between the gloomy weather and all the change in my life literally flipped upside down. I felt completely like I had no control. I was very much unaware that, even though I was aware of the law of attraction, I was aware of that I create my reality. It didn't click quite yet. And it was hard to whenever I was in this mental state. And if you're not aware of what it's like this filter on your life, like a filter you use on Instagram or wherever. And you can't swipe to the original. You can't swipe to what was before. And it's really rough, to say the least. But there was a point where I actually planned suicide at this time. And I can't even imagine now, like, even, I have my daughter and everything like that. But I was planning on it. And believe it or not, it wasn't this spiritual awakening. It was like, I was going through that, but it wasn't this super mystical thing that saved my life. It was actually a video game. And if you follow me on Instagram, you've heard me talk about it. It's Undertale, which was heavily inspired by my favorite game of all time, Earthbound Mother 2. So yes, I don't play video games as much anymore, as much as even in my downtime. I don't play that much, but at this time, it was definitely an escape. It was something that I loved very much. It was very different, heavily emphasized on forgiveness and imperfections and good intentions, but sometimes that could lead you down a very destructive path, keep you narrow-minded, very much surrounded of, kindness, mercy. Instead of fighting characters, you could, but I played the pacifist route. If you don't know what that is, check out Undertale. It's pretty cool. A lot of people have played it if you don't want to play it. And you talk to them and you get to know them and you befriend everybody and you show that kindness and you spread that around. And I really liked the game, and it was something that I needed in my life. I had love all around me. I can't explain to you exactly why I felt so alone. I mean, yeah, I'm moving to a new location and stuff. I didn't have the support system I had, or I have right here, right now. But still, I couldn't tell you just how heavy it was. And with this game, it saved my life because I literally planned to take my life. And there was this part, spoilers, by the way. Haven't played Undertale. You might want to skip over a little bit. But there was this part where at the very end of the game, you're pretty much at your wit's end. Like, this is it. And your life, how you're alive, and the little thing that you play with is this heart. And there's this part in the game where, you're kind of destined to die at this point. And your heart breaks. And, for a moment there, you're pissed off because you're like, dang it, like this is what you were, you're not leveled up because of all the dynamics in the game, because you played pacifist, you became everyone's friend, and you'd rather have that, but you're just like, this is so hard. So you're kind of destined to die. And it's ironic. But anyway, the heart, though, is your determination. It says that all throughout the game, and random things on your save points. It's like knowing one day the mouse will get the cheese fills you with determination, and then you save. But this little heart breaks. You see it break, and then you see it shake, and it comes back together. And it said, but it refused. And I'm sorry, that makes me emotional just now, just talking about it, because it was in that moment that I decided not to take my life. Seasonal depression is rough. And And there's, people say, and it is, like lack of sunlight, and, you can't be outside, especially if you love nature like I do. I mean, I force myself outside sometimes, but it's not the same. It's not the same as getting out whenever it's a little warmer, or, just being outside in general. That's why I love this sunroom. It gives me an opportunity I have a little heater here, and it's warming it up, and I could just sit out here and get some kind of light. But for those of you who are, and why am I sharing this? Why am I sharing this part? It's because this was probably the worst year. I have experienced it many years before that. But that was the worst year for me. And it really woke me up. That moment I decided not to take my life. Because of multiple reasons. It was literally just something clicked. And then all of a sudden I was hyper aware of myself, my emotions, the way I handled those things, what I was ignoring, what I was actually facing. The fact that there are some things I just could not, anyway. The fact that I needed to be more aware of the people I was surrounded with. I was in a relationship with a person who was very low energy. For a time after that, it definitely set me up to raise higher in an energetic sense. So let's just hop to the next year, 2017 to 2018, and how that went. It was still rough. Just like this year, I went through all those emotions. It was a little harder because there were some realizations that I had come to that were not easy to face. And had a lot of anger. And it definitely started earlier, I would say. Luckily, I had Kimbo, one of my best friends in the entire world, with me. And she was actually staying with me. She's from Scotland. And she helped me through a lot of it. Through a breakup, through all kinds of shit. But it was better. Despite feeling like I had no energy, if you've ever experienced depression, you know that the smallest things can take all of your energy. Just getting in the shower, getting dressed, putting on your shoes, just the little things takes every ounce of who you are. To just any energy, it doesn't matter how much you've slept, doesn't matter how much you've meditated, or tried to meditate. Sometimes you just can't get there. It's just a very heavy energy, and it takes everything within you to take care of yourself the way that you normally would, and treat yourself the way you should, and love yourself in that sense. And then, I definitely felt all of that the next cycle. But it wasn't as bad. I had suicidal thoughts, but I could combat them with the reality of love and light that was in my life, and how things were getting better and how much things had gotten better. I started diving into my craft. I opened up as a witch, and being being more true to myself, opening up my heart and soul to who I truly was, I believe is what made things so much easier for me. There wasn't this desire and this shame. That year I felt a lot of shame, but I believe being in the process of becoming my greatest version and being very true to myself despite what other people thought and their journey and what they believe is true and what, and not giving a damn about what everybody else thought. That included my family. I'm a daddy's girl. I very much love my dad. I do care about the things he has to say, like wisdom that he has to share, but I really have to discern between what he believes is right and what is right for me. as you get older, you kind of hop into that, and you kind of, when you start to love yourself, you really start to recognize that, and recognize how your mind is different from your parents. And even though you're grateful and you love them, you're just different, and you have to be real with yourself and true to yourself. And being in that process helped greatly. I have no other conclusion. The more I thought about it, the more I reflected on it, that's the only conclusion I could come to. And let's bounce to this cycle. Last year, I mean, to be honest, it didn't start till mid-December. Whereas it usually, like I said, the end of October, early November. The year before that started in September. So this year, the fact that it started later was such a relief to me. And I truly believe it had to do with the fact that I'm in a better place, have my support system. I am a lot truer to myself this time around than I was before. Been single for a long time. Well, not that long, not in my opinion. Been single. Just really dealing with myself, loving myself, getting to know myself. And even when it hit, I was mentally still okay. Now, I know that a lot of people feel like depression is purely in the mind. Like you're, and don't get me wrong, it does feel cluttered. It does feel like I can't organize anything in my head sometimes. But it's also very, very physical. So like I said, getting yourself out of bed, waking up on time. The best thing you could do is when your alarm goes off, get the hell up. Get up. It's the best thing you could do for yourself, because you're never going to want to get up. You're never going to feel motivated to give up. Get up. And that's where I had to make firm boundaries with myself this year. Because even though I felt these things, even though I recognized that it hit me, so first off, I recognized it. Second off, I knew it wasn't something I could just brush off and wait to leave me. I knew it was something that, hey, okay, so it's happening now. What are my next steps to handling this? What parts do I need to have grace? Like, what times do I need to have grace for myself and really listen to myself? And what times do I really need it? Like I said, with the alarm, just get up and kind of set those boundaries with myself, so I don't kind of, I guess you could say, just spiral into a darker place, because I'm reactive and not proactive. So for anyone who's struggling, these are the things that have helped me this year. And the things that I've noticed that, might be able to help you. There's no guarantee. Everyone has a different degree of SAD. And but it is something to kind of think about, because a lot of times we don't recognize, now depression, some people just have to cope with it every day, and my heart goes out to you. I'm more of on the anxiety side, but like high functioning anxiety, but it's something that I'm working through, and it's getting easier every day. There's some days I just can't. But one of the first things I want to mention is make sure you're being true to yourself. That you're not carrying around things that don't belong to you. That you're not being a person that, in front of people who truly believe in you, understand you, love you, accept you. Now, understand if you're underage, that it's harder. However, but especially as adults, I feel like we do it more as adults, to be honest. Sorry, guys. Well, maybe you can combat this if you're a lot younger than we are. But I feel like as adults, we tend to want to blend in a lot more. We have this weird desire to do it. Make sure you're being true to yourself, no matter how weird that is. As long as it's, my only thing, as long as it's not hurting yourself, others, or you're not oppressing anybody with that shit. Whatever makes you happy. But being true to who you are and living that. not trying to live up to anyone else's expectations because you feel it's what you should do, because you feel it's what you need to do, because you feel like this is the life that you want, without recognizing maybe it's not. Maybe this is just what you were programmed to want. And, you might find that some of the stuff that you were quote unquote programmed to want is actually something that you really want. And that's okay. But it's always good to be aware of yourself and stay aware of, what truly resonates with you and how you're going to apply that to everyday life. And also, number 2, make sure you are finding personal boundaries. Now, I know that whenever I was doing the beginning of the month readings this month, there was a time where I was completely ready to get in here and get these readings done. And now listen, my body was trying to tell me something the entire day. Mentally, I was like, I'm going to do this. I need to do this. I have to do this. And my body was like, but no, I don't want to do this. So, but me being me, like I said, mentally, I was ready. Got in here, got my equipment out, got everything set up. My body started shaking, started getting all this anxiety, and I started crying. I wasn't sad. I wasn't upset. I wasn't nothing. And I reflected on several times, like, was I sad? Was there something that happened? And no, absolutely not. And I just started breaking down. And it was my body saying, you need to fucking rest. There is a lot of change going on in your life right now, Missy. Sit down. And it was frustrating, but it was also, that's where the personal boundaries come in, where I was like, okay, well, I need to respect this. I'm not a failure. I'm not lazy. I just have to rest. My body is literally breaking down saying you need to rest. If you're not aware, that's, I teach in the morning, like I would say like 4 a.m. to like 8 or 9 a.m. depending. And then I have a part-time job, and then I do this. So it's like right now is hustle time. Right now I was preparing myself already for these times where it's like, this is just is how it's gonna have to be. I'm gonna figure out when I have to rest and, such and such. But, so those are times to have grace for yourself. Make sure you understand what that feels like and respect it. Have grace and love for yourself in the times that you need it, because if you're going through this, you have to understand that your body literally just can't sometimes. And you gotta recognize those, as well as recognize when it is something you can help in a way. I'm trying to be very light about it right now, but let's say I know that there are many mornings, most mornings right now, actually. And who wants to get up at 3:30 a.m.? But even on the weekends when I have time to sleep and stuff, I know I've gotten plenty of sleep and I still want to hit the snooze button, or I still want to dismiss my alarm and go right back to bed and sleep for hours and hours and hours. So there are times, so at those times, I recognize within myself that I have to force myself to rip the covers off, ask Chewy, my doggo, she wants to go outside, which I let her outside anyway early in the morning, but you know what I mean, it just gets me going in the morning, and is kind of the good start to my day, letting my dog out and feeding my fur babies and stuff like that. So there are times when we have to set personal boundaries in the sense of knowing when it's going to help us get started in our day, help us mentally, emotionally, physically to move. I know dancing has helped me a lot. I know that singing out loud has helped me a lot. Doing these readings has even helped me a lot. Because I would have to get in a good energy to do these readings. Now, if I just couldn't, I just couldn't. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to bring that into a reading or anything like that. But the fact that I'm like, you know what, I can, and I sit still and I just kind of still my mind, and it happens. So just figuring out the flux, of how that works within you will definitely help you in it. And not only that, acceptance. So number 3 is the final thing I'm going to mention, and that is acceptance. A lot of people like to fight against the tide. They're like, no, like you can get over this, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm not saying that you can't heal from this, but here's the thing. In my personal experience, and I'm just speaking from my personal experience, this is something you're just going to have to face and accept. So to fight yourself on it, trying to fix it with things outside of yourself, not doing inward work first and stuff like that, fighting yourself on it isn't going to help you. And try to make it out like nothing's wrong with you, or understanding you're like, man, this isn't me, and it's not. It's not your true essence. We get it, but that doesn't mean you're not going through it right now. And the best thing you could do for yourself is simply accept the fact that this is something that you're going through, and that it is something that you're going to have to really work on to make each year better. And understand and have no attachment to any expectations of yourself or the situation, so that it could be the smoothest ride possible. That has definitely helped me this year. And don't get me wrong, there are times where I would text my, one of my best friends, Tabby, particularly. I talked to her the other day. I was like, I felt like lazy and stuff like that. And she goes, pretty sure if you're thinking that you're lazy and you're feeling bad and like you're still trying to do stuff, it doesn't make you lazy. You know what I mean? I still have these thoughts personally, and you will have to go through that, but it's the acceptance that this is going to be a part of it, and you can adjust accordingly. Be flexible, be adaptable, understand that this doesn't make you weak. This doesn't make you broken. This doesn't mean that you're less than. This is just something that people go through for a variety of reasons, and if you're going through it, it doesn't make you any less of a person or anything. It just is what it is. And the best thing you could do for yourself is love yourself and accept that this is something you're just going to have to learn to cope with in the best way possible, and love yourself and heal yourself. Take it as an opportunity to really look within yourself, to really, on top of that, relate to other people. I know that someone that I know, they have never experienced anything like this, and they experienced it this past year, and especially right now. It's really, really bad for them, and they're like, I've never experienced this before, but it gave them a level of understanding. And so not only can they understand, they can empathize with people who go through this. Take it as an opportunity to turn it into something good, turn it into something great, something helpful. Extend that love to others. That's the best thing we could do with our experiences. If they're, if you're at a certain point in your journey, I know I am, where it's not necessarily, I think, anything short, like situations suck, but it's not necessarily bad. I believe in lessons, and that everything happens because, and I can turn it into gold. You know what I mean? I can turn this experience into something positive and have it help other people. I can take a lesson from this for myself, and if you're at a certain part in your journey where it's why is this happening to me, to, hey, what am I learning from this? It's going to help you a lot. I know it's easy to get into the mindset that, why is this happening to me? What did I do? Maybe if I just didn't do this, or I didn't get with this person or whatever, like, fucking understand that it is what it is, number one, that acceptance part. But that you can turn this into something that a learning process, something beautiful. No matter how hard it gets, write notes, do something. That journaling helps me a lot. Take mental notes, check up on yourself, and it will help greatly. But guys, that's what I wanted to speak on with seasonal affective disorder. Just a little tea talk, nothing, super serious in terms of like, I'm not a medical professional. I'm not a psychologist. So if you need help, if you're having suicidal thoughts, if you are having these hard times, go see someone, talk to someone. Therapy doesn't make you weak. It's actually very, very helpful. I know. And I have resources below if you need to call a hotline. If you're in abusive situations that may be kind of sparking what's going on right now. I always have them in every single description, these hotlines, so feel free to check them out. But I love you guys, and if you are going through this, know that you're not alone, and that you are surrounded by love at all times, and that you are loved, you are the universe, you are infinite, and you will become stronger from this, and that you will grow in this. You know, and that it's going to be something beautiful that you can reflect on. Granted, you know, the approach that you take. But anyway, I love you guys. Glad I was finally able to make this video and share it with you guys. I say guys a lot, but love you, and I will see you in the next videos. Bye.